actually read that article. I didn't look at that.
But this
what they said was...
Yo, what's going on, baby? It's another one. The jury's out. We're attorneys and friends and anybody who wants to sit down and talk to us. We talk about real, raw, uncut stuff because the jury's out. Yes. All right, and we're here back again with another one. It's good to see you again, brother.
Good to see you as well, brother.
Chris, remind me your last name?
McCray. Yes, sir.
Chris McCray is back. Welcome back. So we're here to talk about an interesting subject. It's called private citizenship, correct?
Precisely.
And so let's just get right into it. What do you mean when you say that you're a private citizen?
A private citizen is a non-14th Amendment citizen. Essentially, you don't have to abide by state regulations, so long as they don't interfere or diminish other people's ways of living.
Okay, so there's a lot there, right? So there's, first of all, there's the 14th Amendment, which makes us governed by the state and the country that we all live in,
yes,
right? Just generally, yes. Mm-hmm. And so you're saying that you don't abide by that.
I'm saying I'm in the process of not being belligerent and not being competitive toward the U.S. government, but in the process of declaring my private citizenship.
Oh, okay, so there's a process.
Yes, there is a process, and
Gotcha.
I feel as though oftentimes it's very much overlooked, and people tend to jump in head first before
Right.
they understand that there is an actual system that you have to abide by in order to be recognized by the state as a private citizen.
Okay.
And you're mentioning 14th Amendment, so was this system not, or was this process not required prior to the 14th Amendment?
No, so the 14th Amendment is what allowed the U.S. corporation to be able to corporatize individual people.
Okay.
In a form of chattel slavery or servitude, for lack of a better statement.
So I didn't actually know that there was an actual process. So like you have to file something, and like, does the state approve it? Like, how does it go? Because most of the people who I've met, which is pretty much I guess mostly clients, it seemed like they just woke up one morning and was like, "Fuck the state. Like we're not."
Like they watched a YouTube video and was like, "That's me too."
Right? Yeah. They declared themselves as
just say it.
they just like they declared themselves like I can do what I want. I'm my own person. So
Right.
what is that process exactly?
The first step is authenticating your certificate of live birth or your birth certificate. When we were born within the state as privatized citizens, our parents, unbeknownst to them, signed off on a birth certificate. That birth certificate made you and corporatized you into a employee of the government.
Okay. So that's what binds you to the laws.
Precisely. So once you've informed the government by way of authentication that you are in your correct mind and persona, they call it persona sui juris, I believe, that you're inhabiting your right mind and that you are in the majority and no longer within the minority. The minority would be of the ages under 18.
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay.
And do you get, you said authentication is the
Yes.
beginning of the process.
That's the beginning of the process.
Do you get it, like what does that mean? Do you sign a paper? Do you send it? Do you have to like?
You have to go to a certain office. You have to speak.
No, so you have to formally let it be known by way of an affidavit. The affidavit basically tells the U.S. government that you are no longer out at sea, because we all function within maritime law.
Right.
You're no longer out at sea, and that you are back within your land dwelling state, and you have full control as a majority individual.
And do you get a response to that? The process beginning, is there like an acknowledgement, like, hey, we're aware that you're starting this, or?
Yes, so there is a correspondence. Once you receive that correspondence, you would go for the next step. After that would be authenticating, and then after authenticating, you go for something a little bit more physical, which would be like a non-citizen passport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I heard you say that you have to show that you're of sound mind, basically.
And that would be by supplying the affidavit necessary.
So it's just you signing that you are of sound mind?
It's not just signing; it's making a complete statement.
Right.
That lets the powers that be understand that you are within your majority state.
Okay, but then, So I guess like, how does one prove that they are of sound mind, right? Like, do you need a doctor?
Oh, yeah. Do you have to take a physical, or is
Right.
it,
No.
or is like I just write this paragraph,
Precisely.
and if the paragraph is comprehensible, and it's like, okay, this person obviously knows what they're talking about. That's what justifies it,
Yes.
right?
Wow.
Yes.
Because I've had
And
clients who are 730 and who write well
Yeah.
and are functioning, and you would think that was written by a regular,
Yeah.
a person of sound mind.
And so,
that's,
what department are you reporting to with that kind of document? Like, who is the one deciding your sound mind?
So you can do it on 3 levels. I'm doing it on a more of a superficial level, which is the state level.
Okay.
So you essentially file with the Department of State. The Department of State is in control of distributing the informations to more national levels. Then it is up to you to file with the federal level. It's also up to you to file with your individual state, because states are synonymous with countries, and each individual country or state operates by its own detail.
Okay, and those are all different departments
Yes,
and
sir.
different groups of people that you have to submit all the.
Yes, yeah, they don't make it
paperwork to.
easy.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't imagine
I'm
so.
sure, yeah.
And there's really a reason why, because once you opt out of being a 14th Amendment citizen, there is no actual mandate that requires you to pay taxes.
So that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So basically, you're seeking authorization for the state to let you become sovereign citizen and not pay taxes.
Private citizen.
Private citizen,
Yes.
sorry. So why would the state do that? That's what I'm trying to get.
Why would they let that rock?
Why would they let
Because-
that rock?
Or create an avenue in which you can rock in that
Right.
space.
Again, I'm non-belligerent, I'm non-combative, I'm just informing and allowing education to be disseminated.
Right.
The fact of the matter is we
the
opt
mic,
in. The fact of the matter is we opt in to pay taxes.
Right.
We've been taught by those who were less informed that taxes is American.
Yes.
Or taxes is citizen-like. The reality is that there are actual auspices by which you can outsource from the government to get non-taxable entities to function as. As long as you continue to use the Social Security, that is the bond that allows you to be taxed. So so this actually kind of allows me to segue back into our initial discussion. When I was first here, we
Right.
kind of ended off with how foreigners, or essentially this country is built by foreigners.
Right.
Right.
Even the founding fathers were
Foreigners.
They were German foreigners, Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, right? That translated over from Britain and came over here with the intention of occupying more land because they were oversaturated, right? Life was fairly cheap in Europe in the 1800s and the 1700s, 1600s. So people needed to occupy other spaces in order to create their own legacy, so to speak. That's where our founding fathers come into place when we refer to the United States of America. With that being said, oftentimes the perception today is that if you are a foreigner, you are less appreciated than a citizen. The reality is citizens have way less opportunities and way less financial
Support.
caveats than someone who's a foreigner. Reason
Yeah.
being,
You ain't got no taxes, baby. No tax law. You ain't got to worry about that.
yeah,
That
but
makes sense.
even
Foreigners
bigger than
don't pay
that,
taxes?
even bigger than that, as a foreigner, when you come to this country, the caveat is that you can open up a bank account fairly quickly, so long as you have the right documentation. Depending on where you came from and what country is in alignment with NATO, you are then given even more benefits in the form of credit.
Like loans. You can
Loans.
Yeah, you can take more money out.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that though?
Because as a citizen, we are taught to be consumers. Foreigners come here
As
with
producers.
as producers.
Right.
So we are born into the mindset of consumption. So
And,
the government,
and also the legal expectation of consumption.
precisely because credit is a form of consumption.
Assumption.
Right.
Right?
That makes
Right.
sense.
But of course, as a system that wants to make more, they're only going to give to those who make more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're more likely to give to someone who's coming here from another country because they're like, you're coming here for an opportunity. So the money I give you is more likely going to be used to build.
Yeah.
rather
come
than if
back.
you're already here, you're just going to use this to consume more.
Precisely.
And I'm really not going to get that whatever interest, even if it's really high. I'm less likely going to get it from you.
Yes, your financial literacy oftentimes as a consumer is limited in comparison to those who are producers or owners.
Got you.
And even the school system, it in a sense inundates you to be a student, not a student, a consumer.
Yeah, factory worker,
employee.
consumer, yeah.
Have a trade.
Yes.
you know, things like that.
Which really quickly, just to because I work in the education system, if we were to make kids learn about being producers, they'd still not do their homework. I've seen posts be like, yo, they don't teach our kids about taxes. Like, yo, if I gave your kid a class on taxes and gave them homework on taxes, they still wouldn't do it.
I think there has to be some incentive by way of
Of course,
of course. They have to
but
see.
it's a joke. Like, they'd be like, oh, I got to do my tax homework. It's like, oh,
But I think if they saw the benefits of it, like you look at personalities like Batman Kevo. Do you think that? Are you familiar? Anybody?
I'm
familiar?
not, no.
Okay, so Batman Kevo is a gentleman that he makes the act of mastering credit look cool. You know, he's got all the cars, he's got all the girls, he's got all the houses.
Yeah.
He just did a 4-year stint in prison, but he came out with.
He went to prison, so he's super cool now.
I don't know if he's making taxes look cool, man.
Well, I mean, so like, based on the mind state that's perpetuated through social media. Everything's about instant gratification.
Right.
Yes,
People are looking at this
absolutely.
guy like he was down, rock bottom 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And right now he's a multimillionaire because he's disseminating information about credit. And in real time, he's showing how this works.
Why'd he go to jail? You know?
Credit.
Hey man,
You know, listen. He learned his lesson and then he got better at it.
He learned his lessons. He'll readily admit he's on several platforms that when he went into
4 years
prison,
ago, he was in
learned how
court
to
like,
refine the skill.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, listen, just 'cause that shows. Sometimes you got to do a bid before you make it big, baby.
Yo, that's on a T. That's a bar. Hashtag that's a bar.
I definitely agree with it just on principle because like that's what attorneys and swag is. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
motherfuckers don't want to give a fuck about these laws. You gotta make it hip hop head. You gotta make it interesting.
Right.
Fun,
You got to put titties on it.
we tried to avoid the step of the bid. That's what we tried to
I'll
do.
challenge even what you said with the kids. I think a lot of kids there's a disconnect. Like they have a hard time understanding how this shit is useful. I think it's the teacher's fault that they don't like.
It's
when
the system. It's
when
the
they taught
system.
these
No.
I think they have a hard time. And they're late. They're lazy.
No, I'm not saying that they're lazy. What I'm saying is the adolescent,
Nah.
the adolescent mind is not. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to put it into a perspective and where they see it as a use, right?
Exactly.
I have.
But you also could just teach them more useful shit as compared to.
But see,
teaching them
there's
shit
things-
that's-
there's
it's
things you-
hard to
But
have
they
these
don't. But
connections.
listen, as a
There's things you
child,
have to teach though, like
I don't
and
disagree.
to make time to make sure that you fit everything in that the state requires that you fit into a curriculum. There's not
yeah,
much
but no,
time
he's
to
saying,
teach.
he's
Like,
saying what the state is requiring is what they require is only building the mind of the consumer.
exactly, that's what
Right.
I'm saying.
So the state
we need to lower
requirements
that.
need to change.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We're making
And-
the same argument.
And so, I'm saying that just the naturalness of a child, right, is gonna, if they look at work, and a large percentage of them look at work and don't want to work, even if the work is
yeah.
gonna save them
And I'll change
time
that.
or energy.
And I'll change that because beating Zelda, that's a lot of work.
It's not. No, it's not
Yes.
though.
And
And
it
that's
really
where
is.
the parenting comes in. When you think
Right,
of
of course.
Zuckerberg, right?
Right.
You think of Mark Zuckerberg. His father almost went bankrupt, making sure that his son, by the age of 4 or 5, had mastered the art of computer programming.
Damn.
His father put that house on the line, bro, so he could hire a tutor. Do you know what it is to have a 4-year-old kid sit still to learn?
That's
Yes.
very
Program, bro.
difficult.
Yes, I
That's
do
very
know.
difficult.
I do. It's impossible.
understand.
It is impossible.
But that's the reason why
But
he's
it's
so
the best-
successful.
It's the best time to do it.
Damn.
If you're gonna force them
It's
to learn
that
something,
discipline.
No, they're sponges now. They're sponges at that age. So I
Right.
think kids are
Yes.
naturally curious. Like Trey is asking me new questions a day, like that he's
Mm-hmm.
never asked before. They're just naturally curious and they're sponges. So they
Mm-hmm.
want to learn. So I don't think that. I think that some kids, as they get older, like you're in high schools, right?
Junior high,
Junior
yeah.
high. So yeah, at that age, it's like, you know, there's a lot of more social stuff. You know, social media and all that stuff.
Distractions.
Yes.
There's a lot more distractions. So their curiosity's still there,
Right.
But they just don't want to when they get home.
It's misdirected.
Yeah.
And also
By
the-
design.
and also the
to
rate
consumerism.
the
That's what
rate
it's
and
directed
the
at.
rate in which their mind is now adapted to consuming content and information has been skewed and manipulated, right?
Yes, vastly shortened.
And so that's why, like, what you're talking about right now about being a private citizen and going through that whole process, you know, there are a lot of people who I've spoken about, and I'm not as well versed as you. I know a smidge about it. I know about the maritime law and relationships and parent and, you know, and partnerships. That's why they call it that, you know, which you probably can elaborate on it later. But like, when you start to talk to someone and they're really, really interested, but then like an hour in, they're like, wait, I have to talk to the state first, and then I got to talk to the federal, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and that, and that, and that. Bro, I'll just pay
taxes.
I'll just get fucking insurance, bro. Like, fuck that. It's easier for me to just comply with the state than do all the 30 steps I need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like. Like you said, the consumers. So they're not gonna want to go through that step.
It's also culture based too. So you think of, I learned this because I was dealing heavily with Greeks, and they were showing me how they were able to create opportunities for their families in real time.
Like
in
what
a fairly short
what
time.
kind of opportunities?
Like
that
think
we-
about the idea of coming to this country knowing nobody, and then being able to dictate the market in your demo. Like within 3 years, being able to understand that, okay, you know what? Because I'm functioning as a foreign national, I can occupy this area. I can bring my cousins in. Now, what we can do is we can all get access to credit, and now we can occupy stores. We can create streams of income, so that now we can create systems and the fundamentals to essentially creating our own small society.
Our own little empire.
You see it in Brooklyn all the time, Williamsburg. You see it amongst the Hasidics,
Yeah.
respectively.
Yeah, I mean when they make their house a synagogue, I mean that's just a chip at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But they make their house their
FBO.
$1 million house that's balling like a motherfucker, and they make it a synagogue, and then they don't pay taxes on it because it's a
FBO.
house of worship.
They make it a faith-based organization.
Right.
Most of the time, they only teach us about 501c3s.
Yeah.
Why is it that nobody mentions 508c1as? Why is it that nobody?
What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Brought my Spanish out.
2319.
508c1a.
So yeah, what is that?
It's a non-for-profit based as a faith-based organization that allows you to forego having to submit any type of paperwork on whatever sales or expenses that you've had.
So I can just say that I worship this type of faith and start following that.
Who's to dictate what faith you believe in?
Ooh, I got a faith.
Realistically, even
I got an actual paper. I can put that
your
on paper.
application would ask you what faith organization you're representing. You just put faith.
Yo, on a simpler. All right, so it's funny. In high school, I knew a kid who always wanted to wear a fitted in school, right? Because he didn't like his hairline or something, so he always wanted to wear a fitted, and he always wore this blue Yankee fitted. And the teacher was like, "You have to take your hat off." And so someone told him that he could just put this paper in and says that it's part of his religion, and they can't say anything. And so he did that, and like the principal would look at him and not say anything, right? But one day he wore a red hat. And then he had to take the hat off.
Blue Yankee in the application.
Because you had to be specific. You had to be specific, you know, like, because he wasn't like, oh, it's a yarmulke or it's like a kufi. What is that what the Muslims wear?
I don't know.
What the Muslims
I love how
have
you
the
like,
knitted.
you know,
I don't know.
You're a Moor.
It's a hat.
It's a hat. But yeah, whatever, any religious hat, you know. So like that was like one little funny thing. But you're right. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, that's wild.
crazy.
That's wild. I did not know about that, obviously. But goddamn. All right, so back to the process, right? So what step of the process are you at now?
I'm at the step where I've already authenticated. So I'm currently looking to extrapolate my DS11 passport, which is my non-citizen passport. Right?
and so now this passport.
Yes.
Is it like a paper document like an American passport?
It's a U.S. passport.
So it's a U.
They
Wait, so it's a U.S.
give you a
passport?
U.S. passport, but you're not a
but you're not
citizen
under- yeah,
of the
but-
U.S.?
Yeah. So how does that
And it
make
will say
sense?
it will say
right
on it.
It says a non-citizen passport.
But the seal on the front cover of it
I guess
is
they-
still American.
Of course.
I guess they still need
Because
something to.
I'm occupying this landmass.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I guess since
So then, could you have a bunch of them if you went to every country you wanted to go to and had a home or something like that? You do
Absolutely.
that same process in every single one of the
Well,
countries.
the U.S. works a little bit differently because they have almost gray areas.
Okay.
Where you can create, for lack of a better word, you can create corporations. Remember, your Social Security is a corporation. It's the lowest form of a corporation.
I think you told us at the last episode
Yes.
that you are a corporation.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your Social Security number is your lowest form of corporation. It's the least recognized. It's the least respected. That's why it pays the most in taxes, right? That's a sole prop. From there, you go to an ITIN. An ITIN, that's a international tax number, right? That's usually what foreigners will come over with, and they will be able to extrapolate masses of credit, right? From there, you have a CPN, which is a certified private number. Those are usually for celebrities. Those are for government officials. Those are for individuals who are working with
like diamonds and shit like that.
not necessarily diamonds, but people
that makes
who
a lot of money?
can't release their own sensitive information.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Trump won't go into a diamond space and purchase something
necklace or
that
something.
requires his Social Security number. Instead, he'll use a CPN.
Okay.
Oh, that's rich.
Yeah, it's not even rich. It's just access. Like you can create your own CPNs like that.
Right,
They don't-
right.
It's not an issue.
And it'll
you can
cost-
even register them with the IRS.
And
Like,
there's no capital barrier. It's
there's
not
no capital barrier.
Yeah,
No.
it's like free to do.
From there, you have your corporations, like your LLCs. These domestically hold greater precedence than any of the above prior mentioned. But beyond that are foreign corporations. Foreign corporations hold the most weight because they're recognized by NATO.
Right.
They're
Okay.
almost like their own individual states. So you can create a corporation that's foreign in your own name. You can then go to a bank and open a bank account with that corporate ID,
okay.
right?
The
Like,
question is like where. I mean, I guess like where is the best country to open up a foreign?
the U.S.
So you be a foreign U.S. country in the U.S.
So
Well, no, so because we're using country as a landmass, right?
Yes.
Where really a country is an energy admitting its identity. If I'm making sense, it's like
I understand what you're
that
saying.
number represents a sound mind, and so the sound mind can operate as a country, but a country doesn't need land in order to exist. It's like
Okay, I
almost
got
on
you.
some like
I got you.
metaverse shit.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
I got you. Okay.
and so that's what he's
So you would open up basically a foreign LLC, but then just use its attention in the place you opened it up. It would have the freedom to go operate internationally,
But it would mostly
you-
operate in
but-
the US.
Exactly.
because this is where the money's at,
Exactly.
right? Like,
But just because they know that your corporation has the functionality internationally, they would give it a higher value than if you just made a regular basic ass LLC.
yeah, because
Right,
you're not
right.
domestic.
Right, and I'm operating under the assumption that because
AWS
you're international, we about to rebrand. Where Franklin at? We about to rebrand.
We need some German labs. Any German lawyers out there? Chancellor.
See, I was operating under the assumption that because you're an international company, you have another country landmass vouching for you, which makes it higher. But you don't even need that.
No, no. The
is
U.S.
crazy.
So, for example, recently I this is all hypothetical. Recently,
course. Everything here is
hypothetically
hypothetical. Everything.
Created a corporation for a friend who's undergoing. They're scrutinizing his accounts because he's undergoing like a really messy divorce. He needed a means to be able to create, and again, this hypothetical,
We got you, baby.
a alternative account in his own name that cannot be scrutinized because it's not using his Social Security. Okay. So what hypothetically we did was we saw
Or
which
could
countries
do.
we saw which countries were receiving the most benefits right now. And right now, Ukraine happens to be one of those countries.
Of course,
Right?
billions.
40 billion,
Billions.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you happen to, and this is hypothetical, I'm not going to say this is something people can do, but if you happen to create a foreign entity in a space like Ukraine, but have your mail received here in the States,
Right.
you now have a foreign corporation that's functioning on domestic land. They give you your corporate number, everything within the same 48 hours. You get that number, you go to the bank, you get your bank account. You build your relationship with that bank. That bank knows that your corporation was formed in Ukraine, so to speak. Now you get all the benefits that someone coming from Ukraine would have gotten.
And you could do that for any country.
Any country that's in alignment with NATO.
And is that? I feel like the reason we're using all these hypotheticals is that is that in a gray area? Is that frowned upon? Is it?
No, it's just not known.
It's
It's
not known.
known amongst the individuals that come from out of the country.
Right.
with that
Because it's
literacy.
advertised to them.
Yes.
Yes,
Be-
exactly.
Think
It's
about
part
when
of
you go
their
to
culture.
when you go to China. In China, the culture is take time off to come to the States, and they give you like a small paid vacation.
Yeah. I heard they give them like $100K or
Credit.
something like that.
That's
just to-
credit they're giving you, so
Yeah.
you can occupy space over here, and you can buy real estate as a collective.
China is really gonna fuck us in the
I mean,
booty
but-
hole.
Oh no, we're done.
They're gonna fuck us in the booty because we're going over there to fucking eat wontons.
And eat steak on a stick.
We're not only going over there to take shit
We're
over.
over there on the Great Wall taking pictures.
Wow.
But this goes to the testament that you had stated the other day about TikTok,
Right.
right? Chinese algorithms are very different from a U.S. algorithm,
100%.
right?
100%.
Consumer versus producer.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about this in a different episode. And we were talking about how like there are cultural lanes, right? Like the Habibis got the fucking corner stores,
Right.
the fucking taxi
The-
people,
the-
the Indians got the meter maids, like
The
it's just-
Indians and Chinese or Koreans, they're usually the meter maids. They're
yeah,
not.
and you would think it's because they got it, and there's just a culture of making sure that when the people come over, I'm gonna give you a little whatever job at the store, and then eventually you'll have your own store, and it perpetuates. But I didn't know their country that they were coming from was giving them a nice greased up ass pat. Like,
Go on, baby. Take that money here and bring it back here.
Still angering their country by taking all their money and their bitches.
Yeah, he's saying that that China does that. Now I don't know if the Middle East does that. Like,
I mean, there's remember the Middle East up until I can't say going forward. The Middle East was tethered to the U.S. by way of the petrodollar.
Yeah,
Right.
they got money.
Yeah.
so I'm sure. So they probably don't even need their people to come.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also incentivized to come here
Right,
too, though.
right.
Yeah.
Because the idea is if you can occupy the land, then
you
you
can do this.
gain an asset. Exactly.
Yeah. You see, and this is why education is so fucking important, bro. Because I feel like, especially conservatives, like they're trained to hate the people crossing the border illegally,
Yes.
and that they're the ones stealing, like, you know, not paying taxes and shit like
Right,
this.
but
Whereas it's legal
Yes.
to do it this way.
Like the country you're fighting for, its laws allow
It's
them
laws,
to do this.
Right, it's allowed to do that. Why are you hating on this dude who's just trying to fucking survive and feed his family?
Right.
It's a necessary divisiveness because if it didn't exist, then people would start to question why they're paying taxes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's just like, I mean,
That was an annoying laugh.
Yeah, man. So you're, let's say, okay, now you become this private citizen. So not only does it, when you go to a bank, you'll be able to get more capital, right? But you say you don't pay taxes, so that means like, let's say you're a private citizen, but like, let's say I'm a private citizen, but I work in a public school. When I get my check, I'm not getting any federal or state taxes taken out of my check.
No, because then you wouldn't be using your Social Security one. You'd be using a foreign EIN.
Right.
With that foreign EIN, you'd be filing an entirely different. It's a 1099 contractor.
Oh.
So you're being contracted.
Oh.
It's one corp contracting another.
got you. So you can work for the city, but as that
Absolutely.
As that entity.
entity. Yo, God
And
damn, bro.
and if they say, oh, we want to give you this job,
rebrand this shit. Rebrand.
if I wanted to like become, if like I wanted to be, because I'm on my way to become a teacher, if I wanted to be like, okay, no, I want to be a teacher, but I want to be paid under this thing, are they allowed to discriminate and say, nope, we only accept people who use their Social Security number, not
Hell no.
because we don't contract.
No.
No, they
City-
can't
city
discriminate.
can't
Think about how many
Not New York
individuals
City.
don't have social security
Right.
numbers.
New York City don't
Right.
play that.
Yeah, they don't. So remember, you're contacting the IRS directly to provide you with a foreign EIN. They're providing you with that so you can conduct work in the States. How are they going to discriminate you?
Right, they
You're going to
couldn't.
tell them, yo, call IRS, nigga.
Right.
Like, here's the paperwork, bro.
I couldn't say that. But
Your beef is with IRS, baby, not me. There's no beef.
it's a call IRS bitch.
Yo, so I got another question, right? So in terms of like healthcare benefits, like how does that affect?
So you don't lose any benefits. Any money that you've put into the system.
This shit too good to be true.
I don't know.
I'm trying to find something. I'm
Remember,
trying to
you
find a
still-
catch.
You still have a social security number. I would never implore anybody to remove themselves as a citizen as well. You can function in duality,
Right.
Because
Yeah.
when you leave
Duality.
the states here,
Because
the
people have
US
two passports,
Yeah.
like Italian passports and U.S. You can have both.
when you leave the states here and you go to another country, you want people to know you're from America. They
you
respect the fact that They respect the fact that you're America. It's just unfortunate that the landmass of the U.S. does not respect the private citizens of America in a sense.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because I always wondered if you were a private citizen. So then, like, if your house is on fire, the fire department's like, "No, you're not. You ain't paying taxes, so you don't get. You put your own fire out. You know what I'm saying?"
But the
Here's
issue
a
with that
bucket.
is, remember, there are taxes to be paid to the county on a county level. So
Right.
if you own a home, if you own property, you're paying land taxes regardless.
It doesn't matter if you're
There's
private
no
citizen.
way around
Yeah.
that. No, because you're contributing to the whole, the community, to the police, the fire department, the schools,
The sanitation.
all of that comes
Correct.
by way of your taxing
Right.
to the
property.
Property, yes.
Property tax.
So-
You don't get around property tax.
No.
Right.
Does your income in going into this, like, untaxed realm, does it get taxed eventually once you start to use it? Or like, like they say, like Apple has a bunch of untaxed money just floating out there that they refuse to bring back to the United States, whatever the fuck that means.
They
Which I
outsourced
kind
everything.
I'm kind of understanding
Yeah.
in connection. I guess my question is that, are we basically becoming functioning the way Apple does and keeps our money in this untaxed realm for the benefit of not having to get it taxed? But then will it get taxed if we kind of bring it inland?
So bringing it inland is the act of converting one currency to another, right? Turning whatever your credit is into whatever currency you need at the moment.
Okay.
Credit is not taxable.
Yes, that's the best part about credit.
Yeah, it's the best part, right? So
Just bananas.
remember, everything that you're acquiring with this foreign identity or identification is credit for the most part.
Okay.
So once you've acquired something with that credit, an asset, that asset is now within a foreign trust. That foreign business is considered a trust.
Okay.
So it's not taxable unless, of course, you so decide to pay taxes on it. That's a choice.
And why would they do that?
The same reason why we do it now.
Because
We
we
choose to.
opt to.
Exactly. It's a
This shit is
choice.
crazy, bro.
And it's only going to become more draconian because, as we can see, the CPI, the inflation rates, they're being held down right now. They're only going to come up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you're a contractor for this trust that you created, regardless of your teacher. You're just a contractor, and it's going into this foreign trust, and that's why you're not paying taxes, because you're just a employee of that trust, working, functioning with this relationship, right? With this teachership.
Yeah, and their hope, the biggest hope for the government is that you, as a foreign trust, employ citizens, because the citizens will have to pay the taxes.
Right.
Okay. Suckers.
So the thing is like let's
I'm the
let's-
sucker.
Me too, bro.
That's everyone at this table. Right?
So my thought behind this is, okay, they themselves
I'm
created-
authenticating.
I know.
I learned quick. One thing I tell you, I may not know what I know, but when I know it, I do it.
Listen, bro.
This shit making a lot of sense to me now.
Last week I called 311 on that van. This week, fucking authenticated, baby.
That's right.
That's it.
No, my thing is like if like everyone just starts to do this, then the government loses billions and trillions in revenue, right?
Nah, they just changed up the tax game, baby, because you still got sales tax, You still got
So
property tax.
they'll just raise all that taxes on that to just
So
make up for the
that's
loss.
also why I mentioned the 508c1a.
So
The
what
508c1a is it's a foreign. It's considered a foreign FBO, faith-based organization. So it's a church. The only difference is you don't get scrutinized by the government predicated on what your belief system is. So, like as a 501c3, you can't speak to any particular side of politics, right? Like that's
so you can't make a statement.
No, you
Right.
cannot make a public statement. That's one of the limitations. Otherwise, you get revoked.
Oh, so is that why like some churches won't fly the gay flag or something like that? Because like
They have to remain neutral in a sense.
About everything but their religion.
Yeah, exactly.
everything right
Wow.
But what if your religion is like love is love?
includes that.
I mean, you can utilize that, but it's more so about speaking negatively about heads of state. You can't speak negatively about Biden.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. You can't enter the
rile up
political
people.
realm.
Which is
Exactly.
why I caught that you said it several times. You're not being belligerent or anything like that. That's why you want to make that clear.
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah,
Just dropping knowledge.
because I believe in the corporation. I believe in the way it's working. It's been
Right.
working for them the way it's been working for them, and who am I to step on that? Right?
Right. Got you.
Right,
Got
right.
you. Damn,
Shit,
yo.
man.
This is gems. This is crazy. So, damn. I
So,
really
so
gotta-
now let's get
Yeah,
to technicals. What's his mailing address? Where do we start? Where do I find the paperwork?
So what I've been doing is I've been formulating 508. Well, I've been doing that for myself, but I've been formulating foreign 98N numbers for people that are interested in learning how to create their own entities.
Okay.
And learn how to play with it themselves.
Okay, so it's basically, there's, let's say for example, there's 5 terms that if you Googled and looked into, it would set you on
In the right
path.
direction. Yeah.
One of those terms is
Authenticate.
authenticate.
Your
birth certificate.
or certificate of live birth.
Uh-huh.
There's litany of videos that could tell you how to do it.
Okay.
From there, I would definitely go with affidavit. The affidavit is the paperwork that you need. It's not much. It's just a letter that you need to file with the Department of State so that they know that you are within your majority.
Okay.
And then from there, you would take the step of getting your DS-11, which is your, which would be considered your non-citizen passport.
Non-citizen passport.
Yes.
Okay.
Once you're there, depending on how you filed your non-citizen passport, it will dictate whether you're on the undetained list or the do not detain list.
Okay.
Which doesn't mean that you can be
You can't be arrested or some shit.
you can't so you can be arrested,
Because you said do not detain.
but it will come up in the system once your passport is scanned by the law enforcement
Right.
to do not detain you because you're a private citizen.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then
how,
does this
okay. That makes
status
sense.
apply
Well, it makes
to
sense to you.
foreigners?
I mean,
All foreigners?
this is like a get out of jail free
it
card.
applies
like,
only to foreigners.
It applies to foreigners.
Only to foreigners.
No, but you do get arrested. Let's be clear.
you get put in cuffs. If
Yes,
you do something wrong, you get put in cuffs.
You
and you
think
get put
you
in
think the
behind
police is
bars.
gonna listen to that? Like, oh, I'm this. No, they gonna take your ass to jail. That's
so
what they do.
will honor if you're not doing something that infringes on someone else's safety or freedom.
They're supposed to,
They're supposed to,
but
yes.
we know, like,
Okay.
Right,
because
but it's not really about what they're physically going to do. It's like what you can get them for in court.
Exactly.
right,
Right?
and that's what I
That's
see.
what it comes
That's what I see. Like, I see them in court, and that's when they're like alleging like they are private citizens and
Yeah.
that they had the court has no jurisdiction. You follow these certain motions,
Right.
things like that.
But a lot of the people that I found that function in the private citizen stance, they haven't undergone the prerequisites.
Right.
They wake up, like you said, one day and they like watch YouTube and they're like, yo, that's me.
Yes, because I've not trying to identify my clients because I would never do that, but I've had a client or two do that, and it's
Right.
like that's
So
not
the steps you just went through, that's gonna put you in a position to then apply for your foreign LLC.
Oh no, you can apply for your foreign LLC right now.
So are those two separate benefits of operating in this mentality, or like how are they connected?
So your foreign LLC would be the exact name that you're going to use on your DS-11 passport,
Okay.
because you're going to use that foreign number synonymous to your to what people would use as a social security.
So instead of your social security number, you would use
Use
that,
that.
number.
Yes.
So for opening new
Because
credit
it's
cards,
its
for
own corporate-
applying for new
Right.
jobs.
It's like when you open up a company. It's the same thing.
Okay.
That's
So basically, Because I guess I'm trying to like make really clarify these lanes, right? Because you're talking about authenticating and doing all this stuff, and while you're doing that, you should also be doing this other lane, which you don't have to do this, but you should be doing the foreign LLC. And then what happens is the foreign LLC is going to catch up to this other lane because you are going to become an employee of this foreign LLC. That's what it is, right?
You will not be an employee of the LLC. You'll be overseeing the LLC.
Yeah, like you will intertwine yourself with the LLC as an individual.
Yes.
And then eventually
You become the LLC. Just like your social security number became you, you now become the foreign N98
Okay,
number.
that's what makes sense because I've like the videos I've watched, right? Because I was almost one of those dudes. But then I was like, no, this seems a little more technical. I'm not one of these people. But it was like, yo, you just operate as a corporation. Like you're like, I'm a corporation.
Right.
Because you are with
Which
this, like,
people do that all the time in this country,
Right.
except that they're not doing it internationally.
right.
wow.
But even if they are, but you ask the average, you bump into an average person on the street and say, are you operating as a corporation? They're going to be like, what?
Yeah, they don't even,
Like,
they don't
you know,
even, they don't even get it.
They're
Yeah.
going to be like, no, I don't own a business. Like, I don't have an
even then,
LLC.
They don't
It's like,
understand that them as a sole prop is that corporation.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
So proprietary.
I wanted to touch on because I've also heard, through my little random searches, is that when you have a birth certificate, right, through the state, that you can be used as collateral.
You are used as a collateral.
Okay, so now can you explain how you're used as collateral, and then kind of go into I don't know if this is also part of it, but like a straw man account, because I know like just sprinkling about the little aspects. I know like when you have a credit card, your name is in full caps. But when you sign your name, you do capital letter, lowercase letter, capital letter, lowercase letter, and there's significance in that.
Yeah.
Right. So touch on like how am I as a state citizen? I guess that's the right term. How am I used as collateral, and when do they do it, or if they were to, how would they do that?
Your birth certificate, when our parents signed off unknowingly to make us employees of the state, that created a QSIP number. The reason why you cannot legally copy your birth certificate number is because it's a bond. I mean, your birth certificate in general. You can't copy it. It's a bond. That's illegal to copy. The bond in and of itself is worth over your lifetime.
No, I don't.
Over
Hypothetical.
no, I feel you. The bond in and of itself is your QSIP number. Your QSIP number over your lifetime is worth over $1 million.
Okay.
So what the government essentially does is they, as they take you on as an employee, they allow your bond to be put and distributed on the market.
The stock market.
The stock market, yeah.
Okay.
So it's bought and purchased with the intention of it making a money or a positive gain.
Okay.
As the market builds up.
Right.
So it's hedged in a sense.
Okay. So there's money being made on
absolutely.
my existence in this
every
country.
time you use your social security number, you sign an agreement to take on the debt that has already been taken on by the government through your bond.
Because you're a consumer, I guess.
Precisely.
They're betting on the fact that you're going to consume.
Yes.
Because you are living and breathing and need to
and
eat.
also the culture that they continue to perpetuate is going to make me 9 times out of 10 a consumer.
And statistically, that's what it is. Like the GDP of the country is just an equation of the net worth of
The money we're going to spend.
Yeah.
no, not the money we are.
We
Like,
are,
you know,
yeah.
he's saying
Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you're fucking 1 month old, you're going whatever the price is now. By the time you're able to buy, it's gonna be fucking inflation, like
Right.
we're going through now. So they already know that just the fact that you're born, you're going to give us a plus, a net
Right.
profit.
Yes.
And so now can you explain like why is it the difference between your name being in all caps and then your name being in caps and lowercase?
Your name being in all caps is the corporate body. The lowercase is the natural person.
Right.
So the discernment when you're doing commerce is you're working within the corporate body, the sole proprietor. That's why if you get a credit card, they ask for your social security number, right? But you can also get a credit card with the EIN.
Right. But then if let's say now you're a private citizen and you get a credit card, the name that's on it is still going to be in all
It's
caps?
still going to be in all caps because
Right.
you're still functioning through a corporate body.
Right.
It
right.
just happens to be a foreign corporate body.
That gets more benefits because
More
you're not
benefits
because you're
because they're
producing
seeing
out a
you as a
consumer.
foreigner.
Right. Right. Okay. Bet. And so
I'm
when
from China, bitch. Respect me.
okay,
Wonton soup.
so
no,
damn, man.
we getting,
And
we,
so-
we
so
getting
the-
close
and
to
so
cutoff time anyway.
So the straw man. So the straw man is the other the corporate individual that you are. That is collateral for the
Straw man
gun.
is your social security number.
That is
Your straw man.
Okay,
That's your bond.
very interesting.
Yeah,
Fuck,
so
man.
it's good to keep it because
Right.
again, you want to receive all of the perks of being an American, right? Mm-hmm. But that's only out of America.
Right? Yeah. See,
You know, you got an embassy out of America. That's a plus. But here, it really pays to be a foreigner.
Okay.
bro, this
there's work
video
to be
about to
done.
blow the fuck up. Only because, like, I keep it real with you. I walked into this conversation, extreme skeptic.
Yeah.
Right?
I was
But
extremely
I'm-
ignorant. He was like,
But,
I didn't do a good job at explaining it. To
no,
him.
and I like that. I like that. I only want to know the topic,
Right.
and that's it, because I don't want to know anything about
no,
it.
but
It makes it
my
organic,
skepticism
you know.
comes from my it comes from my experience interacting with like Ev said
Yes.
it up front.
We've had clients who were-
and they're not exactly saying I'm gonna break it down for you, brother. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they're
Nah,
going
yeah.
about their way, and then
Right.
even times when it is broken down, whether it's through whatever you're reading, it's not broken down well.
Right.
This shit was super literate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, bro.
super like
I-
anyone can understand this shit.
The piece that was missing for me was the hardest piece, which is that you have to file with the state
The
to
mechanics.
tell them that you're not a member of the state no more.
Right.
And it's like, I like, just tell me that, bro. Like, I need, if I could show that to the court, maybe we would have a better relationship. Like, just tell me that part. And they're just like, nah, they don't have jurisdiction.
A lot of them don't know that part though, and
Even that high up.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time learning this information. It's been recently, now that I'm paying attention to the world structure, that I can see it on a macro. Like I was also very much in alignment with the Moorish Temple. Still am. I think they're amazing individuals. I think they're brilliant to be able to commit laws to memory like that. And
They do be spitting off the top of the dome.
Right.
They spit off
and
the
their
top
flag
of
is
the
like
dome.
red, right? It's a red
Absolutely,
flag
yes.
with like a symbol in the middle, right?
yeah.
I've seen a video.
it's incredible.
I saw this one little clip. It was really grainy, but it was like these cops surrounded this guy, and he had a flag outside of his car, and he was like, "I'm a private citizen," blah blah blah, and he's spitting all these. You have no jurisdiction to stop me. You're the state. You're an officer of the state. Blah blah blah. I started spitting this, and like. On the comments, people were like, this guy's crazy. And then you have a couple people be like, this motherfucker knows more than all of y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea what the fuck this guy
I
understands.
find the issue oftentimes is that they become almost ostracized from everyday functions. Like
Right.
they almost shy away from the idea of functioning within money, within the actual corporate system,
Right.
which puts them at a disadvantage.
Yes, it
because
does.
every other culture functions within the corporate system.
Yeah, everything. Because it's still capitalism.
Right.
So, you know, we still got to know what's going on.
Right, and unless you're gonna be completely off the grid, you know, processing your own poop and making your own water and shit like that, you're gonna need the system and never use the roads and be on your fucking porch with a shotgun all day. You know,
Exactly. It's
making
not,
sure you.
it's not serving.
Yeah, it's
You know, and you can't create community that way.
right.
No,
Exactly.
exactly. And that's the part that was missing. It's like, you know, they came off arrogant to me because it's like they felt like they didn't have to explain anything to me. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to understand, one, why you're here, and two, why you're saying that none of this shit gives a fuck. Like, I want to know why you're saying this judge doesn't have jurisdiction over you, because I don't know how that's possible. And I never got a straight explanation. So this was it. This is what I was waiting for.
Now you
And
can
what you need to do is just pay this fine and go open a fucking business, motherfucker.
That's another conversation.
Why are you here? Pay that fine. Get the fuck out of here. Go use that farm credit and say fuck you to the world. Fuck, man.
Take this discount and just get on up out of here. Yo, Chris, man, thank you for another banger, man. I appreciate you.
banger.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yes.
You're always welcome here, always, because you always spit something that I've never heard of, and that now I want to get into.
Facts. Authentication, here I come.
So we got any artists of the week? Who
No,
got?
we have a
Unsung hero.
unsung hero. So Kevin Watkins is a right. Said that right? Watkins. Yes.
Watkins Jr.
Kevin Watkins Jr. There's a senior. Respect the senior. Put some respect on it. Is a Coast Guard for about 6 years, and he's doing a 20-year He's doing a 20-year contract or
Bid.
I wasn't gonna say sentence, because but yeah, man, he's out there keeping the coast safe. I'm as a lifeguard. I've met a few Coast Guards, officers, and we felt like they were like super lifeguards because they were always saving people who were like kayaking in a cave or like, trapped in something on the coast, or attacked by sharks and shit.
Stuck in a hurricane.
And also their helicopters are super fire.
Y'all got helicopters as lifeguards?
Yeah, no. No, but
They got tall chairs.
we got tall chairs and whistles, buoys, and a really bad and a really burnt tan. But really quickly, like Coast Guards, their helicopters have two propellers that go in opposite directions. So when my friends of mine, because they work on the beach, when they've had to dive down to go find a body, the police helicopters have one propeller. So when the helicopters fly low to and stay stagnant above the water, when lifeguards come up, the air pressure pushes them back down, so they can sometimes get fucked up. They can or potentially drown.
Oh shit!
But with the Coast Guard, since it's two opposite propellers spinning, the air comes out the side. So when they come up, there's no pressure pushing them down.
Wow.
So,
Come on, PT, get on your shit, bitch.
but that ain't no money.
Yeah.
So
Now I see why you a teacher, Jack. That was very clear explanation,
but
bro.
I had a lifeguard be like, yo, if I ever see a cop helicopter, I'm like, nope, I'm not. Get the Coast Guard over here, man, because their helicopter's way better. I'm not coming up and getting push right back the fuck down. He's like, fuck that shit, man, because that pressure is crazy. And so
That makes sense.
So yeah, shout out to the Coast Guard and shout out to Kevin. Yes, I got that right.
AKA
yes.
KJ.
AKA KJ.
Yeah.
And for your service, man, and keep on keeping us our borders safe. Well, wait, no, our coast safe. I said our borders. Gotta be careful out there.
If there's anything about this episode, fuck them borders.
Fuck them borders.
Non-belligerently.
Non-belligerently. And hypothetically. And I got the sponsor this week. We got a very special sponsor. He sponsored several episodes before, Franklin Gomez of Isosceles, which is a creative ad agency, a multimedia company that I have the pleasure of working for. He's actually going to be a guest on one of our future episodes.
Yeah, we got to get him here.
We definitely gonna get him here. So thank you, Franklin. Thank you, Isosceles.
Thank
We
you for the check.
appreciate. Thank you for busting us down with our logo and all that.
We're going to
jazz.
talk to you, too, because we about to rebrand this bitch.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we have to rebrand as a foreign national superpower.
And you was talking about the empire before. Now they're gonna become one. You're gonna join the Sith Lord.
I definitely need a close shot of
Some special effects and shit.
We're gonna start creating memes. Non-belligerently! Non-belligerently!
Chris, anything else you want to tell the people? How to find you, follow you, website, whatever you want. I know we got it already, but
you can follow us at www.vbgotme.com. That's my business, and if you want to know any more, I guess there's like a link in there somewhere where I'll be able to contact you. There we go.
Yeah.
it's popping up right now.
Yo,
right
bro,
here.
I was already thinking of all the things he was saying. There's gonna be mad pop-ups under this motherfucker.
I learned myself some stuff. I forgot we do.
He
The
said
notes.
7333I, 7333B, like all that shit about to be right.
When y'all see the citations on this episode,
It's
just
gonna be
know
crazy.
we put a lot.
Yo, get your notebooks out. I should have said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, baby.
All right,
The jury's out, yo.
No. So what they're saying, right? Just be clear for our audience, because I actually read that article. I just look at the headline.
But let's
What they said was
Dropping gems like we preaching. Don't overstep the line of my freedom of speaking. We cast to the world, put the words in the street and connecting all the minds of the people we reaching.
Yo, I'm tempted to get fenced in and contempting. Teach you motherfuckers a lesson and pressing the issue at hand. Nah, I don't care about objections, suspensions, and cell inspections. Just suppression of black lives is my passion. And love for my fam is everlasting. So stop gassing these asses with glasses. Cause in the end, I leave them where the trash is.
out. Jury's out. Jury's out. It's no doubt what we about, and we kick it to the masses. Trying to spit the law as we laugh off our asses. Breaking down the latest shit, carrying crazy lady shit. Glad I ain't got no baby shit. COVID got me crazy, bitch. Damn, and G gon' have to edit this. The jury's out, so you can't even credit us. No statements null and void, invalid evidence. No, you can't take us to court, cause you know. Jury's out. Jury's out. Jury's out. Jury's out.
I like to share knowledge. I like to share knowledge.
Again, it's more than sharing knowledge. It's
What is it? It's
Ask any attorney. When the jury's out, there's not a care in the world be. You sit and talk shit no matter where the judge be. Cause she can't judge me. My job is done because my God not guilty. Don't try to tempt me to hell, I will send me. Look behind me, the team is with me. The jury's out, yeah, the jury's out. And if you got a doubt, what is walking out?
I'm not force feeding anyone knowledge. Do you see? I don't see a gun.
Jury's
you
out.
don't need a gun to force anything, right? You know?
Dude, you can force people. You can force people knowledge by making them feel stupid. You can tell me like, wait, no, you don't understand. I'm gonna break it down, and then they're like, oh, okay. Do I own people's will? Yes. But so does water kills rocks. You know what I mean? Like that's just a side effect. So does religion. I think religion, no. I think I'm better than fucking like religion. I feel like it's on its last breath. Like I think I don't wanna. I think I'm smoother than that.
It's definitely not on his last breath.